Hello, my colleagues. Welcome back to Career and Corporate Hub. Ngadzina Ndifikodani Hlajwayo. Happy New Year. So I am a career strategist and I also work as a project group lead. Finally, off sabbatical leave, I'm now back to work. I think, I really enjoyed taking the break, slowing down on doing a lot of things, just trying to regroup myself, more especially that we have moved to, a new country with family. The kids were studying in new school. Obviously, my husband also, going to work like a different environment. It also needed somebody to sort of like reorganize ourselves, develop new routine, more especially with the kids, like going to a new school. I think one of the challenging things that my like one of my sons had, actually both of them had like some challenges when they started with the school. They really loved the school, they were so happy. The hours, more especially with my older son NJ, he felt like this is quite nice because the hours are not so intense. Like in South Africa, we would leave the house at 6 o'clock and going back home at 6, because after school he would go to aftercare. So his school was up to 12 o'clock and then he would go to aftercare, and he felt like, why must I go to aftercare? And he never really understood why I wouldn't come and fetch him like his other friends. And I always had to explain that unfortunately mommy has a full-time job. I can't leave easily and fetch you. So now coming here, he really enjoyed that new dynamic that they're using a school bus. It fetches them at quarter to 8, and then they come back home at 4 o'clock. So he feels like those hours are quite not intense. But the challenge was he skipped a grade, or rather the curriculum is different. In South Africa, when we left, he was in grade R, and they had just started writing, reading, but not so much. When he came here, then the grade that he's in, they started like writing, reading like from the previous year or grade. And already the kids were they're reading big books, they're doing so many big things that for South Africa, I think that's like introduced in like when you are 7 years. And then for the British curriculum, that's the curriculum that he's is doing currently in China. They do it when they are 6, and they encourage more for kids to develop socially. So therefore, they don't even take them back to like a previous grade where he could maybe start over, because I also inquired about that. So they rather they actually group them per age. So now he had to learn to read. I had to buy a lot of books actually for him to read. Like every day we are reading, from morning, afternoon, sometimes, and at night, to try to get him to a level where he's catching up with his peers. So I've got also this British tree books. So we started from level 1 and now he's on level 4, which is like great progress. And that really, for me to be on sabbatical leave, it allowed me to teach him. And now looking at how he's able to catch up with the reading, like he's writing, he writes now anything, like now you can see when you're walking at the malls that he wants to write. But anyway, we're not here for that. I actually wanted to talk about a vision board, because this is something that I created for the last 3 years, I think, and something that I've achieved through and through, starting with reading. I was never into reading. However, I would try to read because I knew the importance of reading. For an example, it will help me to improve my English. I talk a lot about my English journey, and I would also like to have a full video on this journey, because so I was talking to this lady. She was saying that she was inspired by my journey, and I thought I should shoot like a full video on some of the challenges that people can come across with, not being confident in speaking English, or rather just, moving from a place where you were not exposed to English at all, and now you have to communicate in English, like including translations, looking at the dictionary for the word, and still you don't understand what the dictionary is saying because your English is very limited. So that's how I basically associate reading with. So now looking at 2021, I had a vision board where reading was also part of my vision board. And I remember interviewing another guy, Dr. Joshua Chipiwa, and I asked how he manages to read a lot of books, because he reads a lot as well. And he said he sets a target every year, and then he follows on that target. So I went from literally reading close to no books in some years to 20 books. And I read 20 books in 2022, 3. And I was quite intentional about that goal. It happened, and I never thought I would really read so much. It happened. Last year, I set another goal as well. That was on my vision board. I want to read 30 books. It happened as well. So I was quite intentional about achieving that goal. That when you're setting up your goals, or when you're writing your vision board, think about the system that you want to create along those goals that you're setting, because it's not just about achieving the goals and then you move on. It's about achieving the goals and becoming consistent in following through that goal. So it shouldn't be become just a goal. It has to become a system that you have implanted for you to to continue doing it. And one of the topics that I had on my vision board was getting promoted. That was, I think, in 2021 as well. And I had to look at what promotion looks like. What is it that I need to do in order for me to get promoted? Because I had been discussing promotions because of like the role that I was doing, and looking at the scope, I felt like it should have been a bigger band. We discussed it, and it was not successful. And then looking at how then promotion looks like, because I had the right qualification, the right experience as well, because I had worked for suppliers, and now being put on a lower band, I felt like I should be a senior. And you would see like graduates would come in, they would spend some not even a year, and then they would get promoted into a higher band. So for me, with an experience, I felt like then my story to get promoted was more justifiable. And therefore, how do I put myself in a position where I can get promoted? So I started having the discussions with my manager on how to get there. How can we do it? If then this position is not gonna get me there, how do we then restructure my like me getting into like a higher band? So I was quite intentional about that. I had a mentor also that before I get into the discussions, I discuss how I should structure my approach as well, because you don't want to seem entitled. You want to show the results. You want to show why you are worth getting promoted. And also, what I was grateful about having a mentor within that period, I was able to align my goals with the company's vision. So now presenting that this is what I'm doing in order for me, like to my manager, showing what I'm achieving, showing what I'm doing, and so it's sort of like showed my manager why he should support my goal. So when you doing your vision, and funny enough, with this as well, I had put in a figure of what I want my salary to be, and when I got promoted, I actually got the salary that I had put on my vision board. So when you draft your vision board, be specific on the goals that you want, and your goals must be aligned with your values. Don't follow what other people are doing, because sometimes we look at what is trending, and what is trending may not be aligned with what we want for ourselves. So it's quite important that your goals are aligned with your values and what you want for yourself, then it becomes easy to attain those goals, to achieve those goals. So make sure that you are able to measure them, like the milestones. When you review your goals, I have quarterly reviews on my goals, more especially with, for an example, reading is like quite measurable. If I want to achieve 30 books a year, read 30 books in 1 year, I know by a certain period I would have, read, like, for an example, June, I know I should be on 15, because that's like half a year. So, it's quite important that you review those goals. And this is another thing that I'll be doing. I'll be sending out broadcasts to my accountable partners, because having an accountable partner is also very important, because sometimes for me, I never had really accountable partners, but I have coaches, mentors who then support me through that journey. So maybe those could also be my accountable partners in a way, because we're working, towards a specific goal. So I'm going to be sending out blockers for quarterly, that you can review your goals yourself, your vision board, and see if you are still on track. And, some goals can carry over to the next year. You don't have to achieve everything in that year, because sometimes when we don't achieve something, we sort of like become too hard on ourselves, and we feel like the system that we've created, the goals that we've written, are not achievable. Therefore, we must just give up. I had a goal of, moving abroad. This is another story that I talk about a lot, because I feel like it can empower someone or inspire someone who would like to move abroad, because I've actually spoken to a lot of people who would like to move abroad. And this goal didn't happen last year, the year before, when I thought I wanted it to happen, and then it didn't happen last year as well. And part of the discussions that I would have were also, as my roadmap, were about working abroad. It would either be working in the plant, servicing and the other companies overseas, or somewhere, somehow. I had it on my vision board, because that's something that I wanted to achieve. So just looking at how you can measure them, it's quite then important. And then, are they relevant to you? Is this something that is related to your values? This is where you move away from the trends. Make sure that you for yourself, one thing that I'm quite proud of is really spending time with just by myself. It has allowed me to grow in different areas. I felt like I needed validation from outside, from friends, from family, from anywhere, from externally. I felt like I needed an external validation, and that really did not help. I regressed a lot in my career, but once I moved away from seeking for validation from external factors, when I found reading, I started spending a lot of time with myself, investing in self-development. What is it that I want for myself? What is it that I want for my future? And this has really helped me to achieve a lot of things in life. A lot of things that I'm doing now, I look at them, I'm like, what? How did I do that? Because, those are things that I never believed that I could do them, like talking, it's something that I love talking, but I never thought I would stand in front of people and talk. However, this was also part of my vision board, that I want to, do speaking engagements, and, practicing daily. It really has helped me to grow. When I started with Link FM, I was so bad, even with my voice, I was not even comfortable with it, but it happened. And this was also part of my vision board. So just, like takeaways today, when you do your vision board, I'll actually show my, like, some of the snippets that I showed on social media, you know, on my vision board, like what I've put in last year, that I'm comfortable to share. And this year, actually shared it with the group, my accountable partners, what I'm going to be focusing on. And if you want to be part of the group, please do let me know. I can add you in the group. So, you know, so what I would like you to take away from this video is really setting up goals and being intentional about them, because no goal is big or small. As long as you've thought about it, it is achievable. And the fact that God brought those thoughts into your mind, that means that you are the one that's suitable for achieving them, because we shy away from pursuing our goals, pursuing our dreams, because we are seeking for validation from other people. However, those people don't have the thoughts that you have. They've got their own goals, and they're focusing on their own goals as well. So that's why it's quite important that when you create your vision board, then you focus on your own personal values. You set up goals that are aligned with your own personal values. And last thing, one thing that I was quite excited or happy about was when my mentor showed me, their vision board, that, oh, you inspired me to create a vision board. And just looking at, their vision board, she was like, whoa, I'm quite impressed, because this is somebody that's like already in like executive roles and I look up to, and now them being inspired by me was like really mind blowing for me. And I felt like I'm on the right track. And not only because of what they showed me, that they were inspired by my vision board, that I've been doing it for the past 3 years, also just seeing the progress for the past 3 years, that every year I'm able to tick off the goals that I've written down for myself, and looking them manifesting, it's like really, really amazing. And just to conclude, I am on book 2 now. I'm reading this book, Cultures of Belonging. My first book was The Rise and Rule of the Shoprite Giant, I think, by Whitey Bossam. It was a great book. I would definitely recommend anyone to read that book. I'll also pin it here, so that if you're interested in reading it, then you can read it. So I have to get ready. It's actually very early now. It is very cold in China. So I have to get the kids ready. I'm done getting ready, so I have to get the kids ready. And I thought I should shoot this video before I go to work, so that, just wishing you a happy new year, and all the best for this year. Please be intentional about, moving from where you are feeling stuck to going forward. So setting up goals would really help you to push through, because sometimes we've got something in mind, but we don't really execute. We don't even think about them. For an example, for people who want to start a business, for people who want to get a promotion, they've been like really thinking about it year and year, but nothing is happening. So once you write them down, and you become intentional about, having those goals, have an execution plan, an action plan on how you are going to achieve those goals, it's going to be possible. So all the best, guys, colleagues. Bye-bye.